Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody. And, just glad to be here today. I know we have not been here for the last few weeks. We had Father's Day. Then we had, before that, a couple things that happened. I forget exactly what happened, but we are here today with you. And today I'm here by myself. Big up to Brother Sinby. Big up to Sister Queen Monica. Big up to Sister Kenda. And yesterday, I believe, was, well, not yesterday, was her birthday. Well, the day before yesterday, the 21st was her birthday. So, we wanted to give her a Earth Day round of applause. Help happy solar return to Sister Kenda. We really appreciate all the work that she has done, for the temple. We appreciate the work that she has done, in the community and continues to do, So we had this morning, and, for the record, we say how the Africans feel. And of course, you say spirit is strong, definitely strong. And we are strong here this morning. We here strong this morning. So, yeah, so I'm outside today, out in the elements, and I like being out here, but I know it's supposed to be a hot one. I know they got some things going on in the city today. They got the AFRAM going on, and that's the biggest thing that they got out here. Yesterday they had Big Daddy Kane, Busta Rhymes in the building. They had, so far as I know, and I forgot who else they had there, but I know it was really crowded there at the AFRAM here in Baltimore, here in Tubman City. So how y'all feeling this morning? How you feeling this morning? Like I said, we are back. We are black with you again. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about the circle of life. I want to talk about, life and death. And I know a lot of people may hear me lately and say, man, when I hear Brother Jabari, he's often talking about life, and he's often talking about death. Yeah, especially within the last 6 years of my life. Well, actually, 6-7 years of my life, because I have in that 6-7 years experienced I've lost what we call it. It was 5 of us, and it was me. Well, it was my mom, my dad, my big sister, Melissa, Patrice, and myself. That's where we come up at. And this house actually that I live at now, that's where I come up. Mom, dad, and 3 children. So I call that the big 5. And within 6 years, We lost three of the big five. So yeah, like in those years, I have been experiencing great loss, and with the major people that's responsible for my life, for me being here in general. All right, family. So that's why we talk about that. But you talk about that not just to be running around and to be sad. We talk about that to be able to push forward and move on, to be able to honor our ancestors, to be able to, So I see, hey, Sister Shayna, how you doing? How you doing? You know what I mean? He says, let me see. I'll put up what you say. Same in the last 4 years of my entire support system of elders has passed. Great losses. Yeah, definitely. And anybody else, like you said, if you know what I mean, you have, you know, um, been dealing with this, because a lot of times we go in silence, and we don't talk about this stuff. But this stuff changes our lives. It changes the direction of our lives. And if you can't adapt, if you can't make the necessary adjustments, then it could actually take you out mentally, spiritually, physically. It could take you out. So you definitely want to be able to talk about this, be able to get counseling for this, be able to, do what you need to do. So let me just start off by saying, what I'm saying, as we would with Survivors Nation coming before you, with the Mind State of Liberation coming from a long legacy of direct ancestors, battle stars, and freedom fighters. I acknowledge my duties to continue the circle of life, truth, and justice as a Survivors Nation representative. And I'm a humble servant of my community elders. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I want to give thanks to my paternal side of the family, Grandma Helen, Granddad Henry. I would like to also give thanks to my mom, to my maternal side, Grandma Onis, Granddad Charles Reynolds, and that great line of divine. If you know, uh, one of the things that life and death, what I mean, and losing people, you really get respect for the ancestors. You really get respect for the ancestors, and to know that most of them that were here had to do the same thing that you had to do. They had to lose their parents, they had to lose their moms, they had to lose their dads. You know what I mean? Had to lose certain people. But this is a part of us being here on this earth. It's a part of us being here on this earth, and I didn't make the rules, because probably if I made the rules, everybody would be here and the world would just be overcrowded. Nobody would leave ever again. That's just what it will be. But having respect for the ancestors and your grandmothers, your grandfathers, your great grandfathers, and this is something that I got off the internet, circling around the internet, called the ancestral mathematics, right here. If y'all can see that ancestral mathematics, I got it. You know what I mean? And it says that uh, in order to be born, you needed two parents, four grandparents, eight great grandparents, 16 second great grandparents, 32 third great grandparents, 64 fourth great grandparents, 128 fifth great grandparents, 256 great grandparents, 512 seventh grandparents, 1,204 eighth great grandparents, and 1,048 ninth great grandparents, right? So it also goes on to say, for you to be born today from 12 previous generations, you needed a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years. Think for a moment. How many struggles, how many battles, how many difficulties, how much sadness, how much happiness, how many love stories, how many expressions of hope for the future did our ancestors have to undergo for you to exist in the present moment today? So we're here. The circle of life continues. And we're here to do our part to make our mark, to make our mark in this community. So I just wanted to talk a little bit. So I want to, you know, and many people have heard me, I'm saying, even talk about, you know, I just want to talk about my experience in that 6 years and how I had to make necessary adjustments and readjust during those time frames. But let me just say this: during that time, I've been able to, I'm saying, in my years, my oldest daughter now, Nia, and I have 5 children: Nia, Naya, Kamaria, Mecca, and finally got a boy, little Jabari. Finally, after all these years. So all my brothers out there, I had to call when I did get a son. I'm no longer just a girl dad anymore. I'm sorry to get out of that club family, but I've moved on to bigger and better things. Nah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to have a son. And so I've experienced life. I've experienced 5 children being born. Beautiful, beautiful experience. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. Just to watch the whole process, the 9-month process, the process that the mother force has to go through in order to give birth, and to watch them be uncomfortable and watch them go through the phases of nausea and the mood swings and many different things. In order for that baby to be born on this earth is a beautiful, beautiful process that I've watched. And then to go on that day and to actually to be a part of it and to watch that baby come to this earth is one of the most precious joys of life that you could ever have. To watch this happen, it is amazing, an amazing process. And I had, it was 4, natural births, 4. And the 5th one, when I got my boy, didn't come without surprise. And I could just tell you the experience of that, what I'm saying, with Queen Monica and her, just, her toughness and man, it was a process. So we were there and in the hospital, and she kept having contractions. And every time she would have a contraction, it would be like you would hear the machine is like boop, 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 boop. Hold on one second. Let me check this sound, families. Make sure that this sound is coming out right. Anybody out there, if y'all can hear me, let me know that the sound sounds okay. I want to make sure that this fan is not blowing on here. Let me see. Oh, okay. It seemed like it's pretty good. Okay. All right. So she would have a contraction and beep, 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 and then it would just drop like boop, boop, boop. And so the doctor, the nurse was there and she kept watching. So she like, she kept watching, but I kept seeing her face and she would get like a little wary, right? And so next thing I know, she said, she called somebody in the room. This was after maybe a few hours. Called somebody in the room. One doctor came in. They watched for a minute. Then another doctor came in. Then another. Then a nurse. And they all watched. You know what I'm saying? This was about like 5 minutes. Next thing you know, I looked up. It was at least 20 people in the room standing around her. And then they said, all right, let's go. Let's take, Oh, we have to get the baby out. You know what I'm saying? And lo and behold, they had to do an emergency C-section. Now I'm blown. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? The lady turns around. They throw me some pants and gown set. To actually throw on. Throw this on. Throw this on. And I go in a room. And of course, when I go in a room, I call my mother. Ma, I don't know what's going on. They got to do a C-section. And I don't know what's going on. And I'm just like, man, I'm just like out of it. So, I'm putting it on, and the guy comes back and he said, come on, man, hurry up. You don't want to miss this. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, man, this is crazy. They got the alarm going, like, and Monica's crying on the side. And I'm sitting there like, man, this is horrible. This is horrible. And they running. So then one of the ladies, she said, look, I know this looks crazy, but we do this all the time. Put this on. You don't want to miss it. So at this point, I don't know whether to be happy, sad. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. So then we go I go into the room with her, you know what I'm saying? They got half her body, you know what I mean, half for her, you know what I mean, exposed, half unexposed. And I'm looking, and she's crying, and all of them around, you know what I'm saying? And get your phone ready, get your phone out. You don't want to miss this. And I'm sitting there like happy, sad, happy, sad. I don't know where to be. And so next thing you know what I'm saying, maybe like 2 minutes later, you know what I'm saying, you hear you know what I mean, the baby crying. They're like, yay, yay, yay. Everybody's clapping, and I'm like, oh my God, he's a handsome young fella. Yeah. And they was all happy, like, give me your phone, hey, take a picture. And they take, hey, you want to take a picture? And it was like, and I'm just so confused, like I said, because Monica's still crying. She's still crying, you know what I'm saying? But we got the baby, and that was like my experience with having my son. He came in the world like, wow. And it was a process. It was different than the four that I've had before, but my little man, he got out here, and it was a beautiful process. Beautiful, beautiful process. So I've experienced life. I've experienced the beauty of life, and even with my sisters, watching them. Well, I wasn't in the room when they had their babies. I was there, not for all of them, but for some of them. But I've experienced the beauty of seeing these new baby and new life come into the world. So I've experienced that. I've also experienced death, definitely at an early age, like great uncles, grandfather, people of that, but nothing major until I got into my 30s. In my 30s, when I say major people that really, really was involved and impacted my life. And in my 30s, I would lose my grandmother, and then I lost my Uncle D, who was very, very instrumental in my life. Both of them was very instrumental in my life, my grandmother and my Uncle D. And that really started to, you know, um, give me a different way of looking at life, and just to see people that was very important to you go. But when I got to be in my 40s, to watch, number one, 42, my dad, and because he was the first of the big five to go. And to watch him, that night I got, when you get those calls, I got that call from uh my cousin, actually, who I hadn't heard from in years. And all of a sudden he just called me, hey, you know Corey, you need to get to, they call me Corey, you need to get to the hospital. Believe me, get to the hospital now. It's serious. It's serious. Your father, you know what I mean? And before that, I've never been to the hospital uh with for my father. My father would go to the hospital if he had something going on. He would never tell us. He would just go in the hospital. Next thing he'd be like, I just got out the hospital. Like, you got out the hospital? What you mean? Yeah, I was in there for 3 days. Like, how do you not tell us that you was in the hospital for 3 days? He would never tell us, like, when he went into the hospital. But anyway, this one particular night, what I mean, they like get to the hospital. It was different. And we went to the hospital. We went there to Sinai, and many of the other family members were there. And that day, they pulled us in that room, what I'm saying? And like, hey, what happened? And was talking. And next thing you know, they like, hey, I'm sorry. He didn't make it, and that was like, huh? What did you just say? And it was a crazy and tough experience, to experience that. So I can remember, when that happened, and the day that we actually went to lay dad to rest, that it was it was my mom, my big sister Lisa, Patrice, and myself, all four of us getting into a limo. And I can remember that day. You know, it was Whitney Houston, "I Love the Lord" song that was inside the limo that we was getting into. I can remember that, and I looked at all of them. I said, "Man, we just lost one of our people. One of our uh, folk from the Big Four. I mean, from the Big Five." And I can remember that day, us all getting in there. I said, "Man," and it was, and it was beautiful because mom and dad who had been divorced for years, but my mom was there holding it down like every step of the way, holding our hands. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean, just being a great helper, just showing love to, even my half sister, and a lot of other people, what I mean, even his girlfriend at the time, just showing love to everybody. And I can remember the love that she had during that day. You know what I mean? So, that was dad. You know, with my sister, Melissa, that happened. You know what I'm saying? We were all, my sister Patrice was preparing for her 50th birthday during the time, and just so happened that Monday, because that party was supposed to be on was on that Saturday, and on that Monday, I went over to my mom's house and I had my children with me. And while I was outside, I looked up and I saw my two sisters driving down the street, and they was parked. I said, "Oh, okay. I didn't know they was coming over." So my two sisters and my aunt Marilyn was there from California because she was there for the party also. So they pulled up and came in. And next thing you know, it was like a big old family reunion. We came in, we partied, we were practicing dances for um Teresa's party that she was gonna have, and we practiced and we practiced, and we just having fun. We had a ball, we ate, we did a lot of stuff. My big sister, she played with the children, changed Lord Jabari, and yeah, we had a really good time. And this was like Monday until about maybe about 5 o'clock. No, maybe about 6 o'clock. I came home that night, and maybe it was like 12 something when I got a call like, "Hey, you need to get over here." And I'm like, "Huh? What you talking about?" Didn't have a clue, you know what I'm saying? And then like, "Hey, look," and another guy got on the phone like, "Listen to me, you need to come over here." And then when I got to my sister's house, she was laid out and she was gone, and it was just like that fast. It was like, wait a minute, we was just together, we just having, what I'm saying? And my biggest thing was like, how am I going to tell this to my mother? You know, that was big. You know what I mean? Like, how do I say to my mom? You know what I'm saying? But my sister Patrice got there early because I had called, and so man, watching my mom go through that, and I was there for my mom for all of her, her major losses in life. Her mom, her dad, you know, brothers, her daughters. I had been there for most of the times, but the roughest thing for me was to have to walk my mom down to, down the aisle for that day. And that really took a lot out of my mother, actually. I mean, she kept on going, but that took a lot out of mom in general for me to walk down that, had to take that walk with mom. And I had to hold her hand real tight and keep her up during that process. And that was just all of a sudden, that actually happened. So, yeah, so I'm just explaining to you, what I mean, just some in the last 6 years of, some of the things that I've been going through, heading to 50. And so, that happened. That was at the end of May that actually happened. And from there, we go down to November the 16th. And I walk you through. November the 16th was the day, I was at work. I was cutting hair, and then I got a phone call. I got from one of my mother's friends and said, "Hey, have you talked to your mother? Your mother wasn't feeling good, and I'm on my way. I was there. I'm on my way back to the house, and so I'm cutting hair. So I called the house, and no answer, of course. So then the friend actually called me back. She went back to the house, and I can hear, my mother in the background. You know what I'm saying? And she was in pain. And so I was in the middle of cutting somebody's hair, and I had to leave that person in the chair, and then one of the other barbers had to finish. And so this whole journey, now I want you, I'm walking y'all because I know y'all, you talk, but I'm walking you through this 100-day journey with my mother, which probably me and my sister were more of her death doulas, during this time, transition doulas, probably be a better way to say it. But you know I go, I run to the house. I mean, at that point they said they were taking her to a certain hospital, um Bayview at the time. So we go to Bayview, they rush her there. So now I call my sister like, "Hey, mommy's in the hospital." And so we sitting there at in the waiting room just waiting, because of course we've been through this before. And finally the doctor comes out. And when the doctor comes out, me and my sister, we know we had to, we hold hands, and me and my sister, never did a lot of holding hands and all of that kind of stuff. But for this particular day, we held hands because we knew that, it was something serious. Although my mom had been in the hospital like off and on, not for nothing serious, but just like small things. But she would be in and out, not for a long stay, but maybe to the emergency room. But I guess this seemed a little different or whatever. And so as we walked down that hall, we held hands, and that doctor said, hey, um, we saw some blood on her brain, and we like, oh man, Um, and so we walked down to the room where she was, and it was about 7 or 8 doctors there. And man, the thing that was crazy, I guess the doctors with training, gotten you trained. I mean, they were really good, like for us. I mean, they were like, man, look, we sorry I got to go through this, and look, this is what we may have to do. We may have to, so we're gonna try to drain the blood off of her. Worst case scenario, might have to go into her skull, and I mean, they just telling us all this stuff, but they did it out of, there was a lot of love that was being shown. And so while we were in the room, they were like, look, guys, I mean, they was hugging us. It's like, we're gonna do the best we possibly can to make things happen. And I'm sorry you guys got to go through this. I'm sorry, but just know that we're gonna do the best we can. And so that started a process of just ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. From there we would begin the process, and to go in, and that mom, when we got to say to her that night, because she was still conscious, but she was kind of in and out. Before she would actually go in, and they would start the process of putting a tube in her head, and ma, we love you. And she's like, I love y'all too. I love you too, baby. You know what I mean? And my sister would on to say, because that night she was supposed to make some turkey burger. She got a famous turkey burger that she make. So she went into uh, yeah, she reminded her that she said, yeah, that's right. I was supposed to make some turkey burgers, and I love y'all, love you. And so from there began the process. When the next time we see her the next day, of course she's in the intensive care unit, and now she has a tube with the actual blood running into a jar, and tubes all everywhere, tubes everywhere. I mean, this was, I mean, we don't talk about this stuff enough, but I mean, it's devastating. It's devastating to see loved ones, and this is life, because as I'm talking to many of the people that hear me can probably, I mean, not probably, can identify, because y'all have been there. A lot of folks have been there. You've seen you've seen the site before. Your loved ones laying there, and it ain't nothing that you can do, really. I mean, well, let me not say that. You can, they can feel you, what I'm saying, your spirit, and all those different things. What I'm saying? You can give them your spirit, they can feel your love that's there. But beyond that, what I mean, so far as medically, there's nothing that you can really do besides give them that love and let them feel your presence and your vibe and all those things. So, 100 days being with mom, 75 days I slept there at the hospital with my mother. From every hospital, every room I was there. I mean, the nursing staff, they knew who I was. They gave me sheets every night, and that intensive care unit was very uncomfortable every night. But I can remember being there in that intensive care unit, and them uh uh giving me sheets, and coming in the morning time, and they would come in and do tests with my mother, and hey, China, and they would come in. Yeah, there'd be like 10 doctors surrounding her, and and I would just sit and listen, and sometimes they'd be like, give us a thumbs up, China, give us a thumbs up. And sometimes she would give the thumbs up, what I'm saying, here and there, and I'd be like, yes, yes, and okay, making progress. And they would say making progress, stuff like that, and I would be like, man. And then it got to the point where she started, breathing on her own. And she was breathing on her own. They took her to another unit. Then she got to the point where she started, waking up, and she started to talk. And, he started doing things. I'm like, yeah, but it was still ups and downs. It was days that she didn't talk so much. And then it was days that she, that she would come back and she would talk more, started listening to music and just different things. And she would just say like little stuff. She wasn't all the way herself, but she knew was going to, doctors would come in and ask her questions. Then she had a trait. She had a trait in her throat. So at this point, we had to start looking for somewhere for her to go, a rehab facilitation, facility, and that became a hard process, because some of the places they wanted us to take her were crazy. It was like us taking our mom to Central Booking, And we like, no, we're not taking it. And people wouldn't take people with the trait. After COVID, they stopped taking a lot of people with the trait. So it was like we didn't have many things. So the thing was, we started asking like, okay, well, is it possible that we can get the trach off of her or whatever? So we was able to keep her in Hopkins for a while, and mom was fighting, man. She was putting up the fight, and next thing you know, we was able to get her off the trach. She came off the trach. She was doing better. She was talking better. She was doing a lot better, and things were just looking good, and we were hopeful. Y'all prayers. Let me just say, man, prayer and me being a hardcore nationalist and all that kind of stuff, what I mean? Sometimes you wouldn't pray, you wouldn't do all those things, man. I see where those prayers was working. I would put out the Facebook, man, pray for mom. People said all kinds of prayers. People came in to sign things. Big up to Mama Rashida during that time. Mama Rashida, Foreman Bay, she would call and had prayers written. My cousin Daryl would call, call and read some different prayers, and my cousin Daria, you know what I'm saying, my sister, my cousin Keisha came up and did some spiritual healing things. Man, y'all was awesome. The community was awesome. Y'all stepped up, and let me say something. When you going through this type of stuff, man, it's love that gets you through. It's love that gets you through. It's man, all that we do for each other. The gifts, it ain't even about the gifts or what the gifts cost, but it's just letting people know that you thinking about it, man. Some of the stuff that y'all did, some of the stuff that y'all said during that time, man, was really helped to get us through, really helped to get us through those moments. So man, she got a lot of love, a lot of prayers, and she fought. And then to the point where we finally got her into the treatment center, to the home that she was supposed to go into, and got her there. And she was there, she was talking, doing things, and got her. And one day she was in the wheelchair. She was doing some of the rehab work, but this was only for like a week. And one particular day, I saw her, she was sitting up strong, and she was in the wheelchair, and I was like, man, she was fighting, she was doing well. Mommy had to be on a certain diet at the time because she was on a tube for a long time, and they started to give her some period food, and she could eat that, but she didn't really like it. She didn't like it, but she kept complaining, about I guess she felt like she had to go to the bathroom or whatever, but she didn't really like it, and she wanted some more. She's like, I just want some water. Give me some water. And ultimately, what I'm saying, that day, the speech therapist came in and said, well, look, we can give her some water, but we're gonna order another test if she can handle, the water, whatever. So the only thing about this is that, worst case, she can catch pneumonia, if we get. So mommy drank the water, and she just loved, she just felt like so refreshing drinking the water. So anyway, I left there that day, and I'm saying, like, man, all right, getting ready for, going back and forth to the center, and pack my stuff up, getting ready to leave out one morning. And then my sister called me like, hey, look, um mommy, they had to rush mommy to the emergency room. I'm like, oh, come on, you serious? you know and so this time she would go transfer her to Sinai, which started another process. Now, what I'm saying, she always dreaded getting pneumonia. So now she got pneumonia, and fighting that fight, and that became a fight that, of course, became tough. And we watched her for a couple weeks there. She wasn't even talking like that, and we like, well, what's going on? And then finally, she started talking again. She started saying stuff, and she's putting on that fight or whatever. What I mean? But her numbers, her oxygen numbers, just kept dropping. What I mean? It kept dropping. And I can remember, um, God rest his soul, Comrade Eddie Conway, during the time had just passed during that time. And actually, and then another sister had passed that lived across the street from the shop, who's been there for years since I've been at the barber shop, and she passed like, maybe a few days before him. But I went to Eddie Conway's funeral um, that day, right before I went. That last night that we spent with mom, it was this one machine that she just hated, that they had put on her because they couldn't get her numbers straight. And I sat there, I held her hand, I rubbed on her. And this is what we would do even when she was at the different hospitals. I would get, I spoke to Dr. Baruch, And and I said, man, I can't get her in no food. She getting the tube. And he was like, man, well, rub it in her. You know what I mean? So I got these different things, remedies and shea butter and all kinds of different vitamins. And I would rub in her skin and black seed oil. I would rub in her scalp. You know what I'm saying? And I would rub on her. Like every couple hours, I would just rub this stuff on mom. And what I mean, and just did the best we could. And that last night, man, she complaining. She looked at me, she grabbed me, and she even got her hands off to get the thing off herself. And I'm like, Mom, you got to keep it on. And I mean, all night. We stayed up all night long with that. And finally, they took it off after a while. I'm saying, after a while, but trying to get those numbers stable was was a big thing. So I'm just walking y'all through the journey, and what I mean, because when you're going through this, I wouldn't take this back for nothing. Like, I wouldn't take it back for nothing, because if she had just gone and just left instantly, like my dad and my sister did, I would just have been even more devastated. But it was like, I got to take care of her. I got to be her eyes and ears. And as I would tell people as they came in there, look, I'm her head of security. I'm the head of security. And we would say that, okay, here's the head of security over here. And, but I wouldn't take that back for nothing. I wouldn't take it back for nothing. And, because I got to take care of her, make decisions for her, and treat her like the baby, like a baby, like she nurtured me, and I got to nurture her, for something else. So I can remember that last day, when they said, man, it's nothing. And to that point, they had never said there was nothing else they could do. I mean, she was fighting. And, to that point, I'm saying, like, her lungs had just gotten really bad, and everybody knew what it is and called the whole family, and all the grandchildren were there. Her brother was there, Uncle Lamont, big up to Uncle Lamont, big up to Aunt Marilyn, who was there, what I'm saying, like the whole time, and uh, 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 and my nephew Donald that was there the whole time, and we really appreciate that. But that last night, what I'm saying, I had to, be there, and to watch your mom take her last breath is, some people say, how did you do that? What I'm saying? And I'm like, I wouldn't have wanted anything else. However, it's devastating on two different ways. I mean, sometimes I think, you like, man, how did I hold my mom's hand and watch her take her last breath? And it's devastating. But at the same time, what I'm saying, like, it's like I had to do that because I wanted her to feel like, look, I'm here. And it's like the circle. I tell people a lot of times, like, when she took her last breath, I was born. I was born again. It was like, what I mean, because it was like she was ascending and I was ascending to another space, another place in my life. I was going to another space, what I'm saying, because now the person who has been here with me, my comrade, my number one comrade on this earth, I feel like the creator gave me like the best. And and don't get it twisted. I struggle sometimes too. What I mean? I know the creator, you'd be like, like, man, you give me the best 47 years, and then you take the best away. And I know the creator gotta be like, come on, what I mean? So I gave you the best, and then you you know, but no, what I mean, I had the best, and I always wanted to, what I mean, for my mom, I wanted to share my mom with the world. And many of my friends that's out there today that's listening probably to this podcast today can tell you that there's many of my friends that stayed at our house, what I mean, when they needed places to go, or people that needed money, people that needed this, people that needed that, and I would take them home to mom, and she would help out. She helped so many people out in the community, giving money, giving funds, donating, babysitting, this, that, and the other. Man, I was blessed to have the one of the best ever. So I was blessed, and so I wanted to share that role. I wanted to share that with you. What I mean, because I was taught by one of the best. I mean, by some of the best. What I'm saying. What I mean, and that all come from directly through our bloodline. So I feel that since I was given the best, what I'm saying, and I didn't have to deal with, me, a mom that was uh uh out and on drugs and things of that nature, because everybody got their own path to go. But for whatever reason, I didn't. My mom she never drank, she never smoked, you know, uh, one of the most perfect people that I know to walk the earth. I mean, I'm not saying she was perfect, whatever. I said one of the most perfect people that I know, was my mom. But I wanted to walk y'all through that journey because a lot of us have a journey now. Some of y'all, I mean, journeys are different. Some of y'all deal with sickness with your parents and your children or whatever for years. I mean, for years and years and years that you deal with the devastation of that. And that's why it's important to have a spiritual structure. That's why it's important what we trying to build with the temple of Maat, that you can be able to have a place to go and grow. That rather you in a church and like now some people like, oh man, I don't want to get people to go to. I mean, look, if you go to the church and spiritually it uplifts you, it gives you what you need, then go to the church. Go to the mosque if you need to go to the mosque, and that gives you your spirituality that you need. Go there. You know, if you want to go to the synagogue, go there. Go somewhere that you can get spiritual upliftment, because you cannot deal with what life if you live, because as you live the longer you live, the more you got to deal with. And if you just trying to deal with this, just coming, I go to work, I come home, oh, I may go out sometime, but you ain't dealing with this, you know what I'm saying, and getting help spiritually. You're not getting counseling is one thing, but that's not all. Like, counseling is one aspect of it, but your spirituality is a whole nother aspect of that. And so you have to get that spiritual teaching. Be around people that's talking about this stuff so that you can go to the next level. Other than that, this stuff will take you out. This stuff will take you out of here just trying to deal with it by yourself. And a lot of times that's what people are doing. You know, some people start drinking real heavy. Some people start smoking and drinking real heavy. Some people start eating real heavy. I mean, just whatever it is. Or going out and running around with every man and woman that they can, you know what I mean? Whatever they can do to cover up. But what I'm saying to you is that we need spirituality on top of that. And so that's what we've been trying to do. That's what we're doing with the Maat Temple of Elevation. We want people to be able to uh, come with us, come and join us when we do these events. Come on out, you know. Peace, Dr. Saw. How you feeling there? How you feeling there, sir? Matter of fact, like I always say that. Matter of fact, I will invite you in, Dr. Saw, if you want to come in and share some words on what we talking about. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link in right here. Um, because what we talking about, I mean, I feel that and this brother, is a therapist. I might be saying it wrong, therapist or counselor. I don't want to say it wrong because what I'm saying, I'll put the link in if the brother wants to come in and join in, or if anybody here wants to come in and you want to join in, you want to express what you've been through, or some things like I said, I put it all on the table here, what I'm saying, today, what some of the things and ran down the whole story, because this stuff can be traumatizing, man. It can be traumatizing. So now here you are, and everything for that first year when you lose your loved ones is the first time that you had a birthday without that person being here, the first time you had you had a cookout without this person being there, the first lecture you ever did without that person being there, the first baseball game or football game, the first Ravens game that you had without that loved one being there, and you're gonna feel every ounce of it. And I talked to like elder Baba Issa, you know, and saying, he said he lost his mom, and he's 87 years old. He said he lost his mom, I think, when he was 13 years old, and he was there with her when she took her last breath. And he told me, he said to this day, he wake up and he still think about his mom, all the time, mom and dad, still think about him, and that's just heavy. Then I've heard elders say, like, you never get over it, but you learn how to cope and how to deal with it. And if you do understand the circle of life, if you do understand the circle of life and how things are supposed to, and how things work and flow, and you understand love, and you understand like your children and your family, these are the things that help you get to the next level. Now, Furthermore, like I said, I hope that, I shared my story with you, not to be gloomy and doomy. I just wanted to share, from, all that I have been through, in that time period, and the ups and downs and all. Y'all talk about these different games and football games and stuff, like, how the emotion goes, like, oh, they winning, oh, they lose, oh, they winning it, and that's pretty much like living in a real life football game, but it's real life, you know what I'm saying? Numbers going up and down, and you being affected. And then, when that person is gone, because me and my mom, and I would say that were more than just, mother and son. We were comrades. So a lot of stuff that you saw happen, like with reality speaks and all, like, mom was there motivating me to do that. She was like, hey, when you doing another lecture, when you got this going on, okay, I'll back you. Okay, all right, and a lot of times, sometimes I couldn't afford to pay for the stuff, and guess what? She'd be right there, paying, paying for an event, paying for a lecture, or but she was there at every event that I ever did when she was living, besides maybe about 3 or 4, and that's because she had to go somewhere else, or right when we were coming out of COVID, things of that nature. So this was my comrade, my business, conscious heads barbershop. Y'all don't know, like, when I came to rebuild conscious heads during the time, I had been there for like 13 years, and then conscious heads, I don't know if y'all know, went out of business totally. We went out of business, lost everything, had to clear out the building, everything. And I was gone for almost about 3 years. And then we came back into the building, got the opportunity. And during that time, I had already been divorced, going through a lot of stuff. Car had been repoed, a lot of stuff going on during that time. And my mom decided to move back to our family house, after many years, and she moved in with me. And she only did that to really help me out, to help me get on my feet during that time. So she moved back there to the family house, and she told me, look, you rebuild the shop. Don't worry about bills here at this time. I want y'all to know, I ain't acting bigger than, what I'm saying. Like, you rebuild the shop. I got the bills here. Why, you take what you need to put into that shop and get it rebuilt. And that's exactly what we did. We rebuilt the shop, dumped every little thing that we had there. I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Mama Mayat. Wouldn't have been able to do many of the different lectures. It was times where we would flop with lectures, and I was supposed to make certain payments and do certain things, and my mom would come out with a check. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you need? How much do you need? Or, I'm saying, Mom, I need some help, pulling this thing off. What you need? How much do you need? You know? So I just want you, to know that, I'm saying, it was just more than us just, like, I talked to my mom like 3 days. I'm sorry, like 3 times a day. And she talked to all of us like 3 times a day. If we didn't see it, and probably saw her twice a week. So we were very, very close. And she was very, very involved. And she loved the community. Very kind spirit. Very kind spirit. She would coach us to the end. You know what I'm saying? Hey, say thank you. Say thank you to this person. Open the door for that. That person let you out in the car. Say thank you to say thank you. They let you out in traffic. She would always constantly do that. Constantly do that. So, so when I say I've been trained by some of the best, we definitely have been trained by some of the best. Um, and I've been trained by one of the best, who was my mama. And so many people wondering, like, he always talking about his mom, even with the Mayat Temple of Elevation, I'm saying that, one of the big inspirations is my mother. In that logo, I'm saying, is like the image of mama, I'm saying, like the image of mama, it's representing Mama Mayat. It's representing Mayat, but like in the image, because she has done so much work in the community. We ain't just, making this up. She has done some things in the community. So what I want to do is I just want to show just a few little clips of, like, me and mama talking, or my mom talking through the years. I'll show you just a few, because this is going to actually wind up being, there's a project that I'm working on right now, with my daughters. Yeah. Yep. Watoto from the Nile. And even my little ones, that's coming up. Y'all watch out for some of those projects that's coming up. But there's a project that we working on, and some, that you'll get to hear. It's a project about bereavement, but it's about bereavement, but it's a glorious project. It's a project that's going to help people. That's going to really motivate people to to continue on, to go forth, and to pick yourself up. But it's going to be a great project, And so what we did, I clipped from a lot of different lectures that we had with mom. They're asking questions, and I know how she would get on there and be fired up. But just to show you just a few little things about, um, that you'll get to see down the line. Let me see here. All right, let's add this here.
Okay, greetings to my African family. Greetings. I'm not a person who really likes to come forward and talk, but I have to do it this time because I came before the group about maybe 4 months ago to talk to you about the school, that we need more African-centered schools in the area. And myself and Sister Sheila and many other Africans in our group, but mostly us for right now because we've established a schedule. The sister with the pink hat on.
Look at the head of security.
But anyway, Sister Sheila and myself are starting a school, and we're starting it for free. For this summer, it's like a little trial type of thing. We're going to start it over top of the barbershop, and we have a schedule. Well, we showed this schedule to one of the mothers, and she made a clear suggestion for a time situation because we would just be bringing the kids back and forth. We want to address the needs of kindergarten children, first grade children, second, third, and fourth, right? Fourth. We changed it. We were going to do fourth and fifth. But in order to give a better probably session, we're addressing their needs for core knowledge. The name of the school is African Learning Center for Core Knowledge. The grand opening will be Saturday, June 10th. There's a $10 registration fee, and after that, it's free. The students will come twice a week. Well, the ones third and fourth, okay? They will come twice a week, and the babies will come.
So that they was always coming up with stuff and different things. So she wanted to just do a free school for people in the community, and she was going to do it. She was doing it at, well, she did it. She was doing it at Conscious Heads Barbershop, and anybody who needed help with their children for tutoring, anything. And this is she was doing totally for free. That she was actually doing. She was doing it with a sister named Sheila. Mama Sheila, God rest her soul, went on to the ancestors, used to come out to the events and help out with Reality Speaks. So, man, we've seen so many elders, man. I mean, it's been 29 years we've been doing this with Reality Speaks, and I've seen so many people, of course, go on to the ancestors. And but this is something that, I'm telling you, like, mom was, the reason, even for me coming up and getting involved in this stuff, you can see where I get the fight, where I get my from, what I'm saying, and it was, it was all coming from mama. And I said, look at the head of security over here, what I'm saying, standing beside mom. But go ahead, to let you finish.
Come on Saturdays, and we'll give you a schedule for that. But since I had to redo the schedule over, I will have to give you another schedule. But we have the school schedule on the back of the flyer, and I will put out another schedule for you. So we want you to sign up today, and we will call you and tell you about the arrangements of, how we're going to change a little bit further. They will be going to school either Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 4:15, or Wednesday and Friday at the same time. We will have an adult school on Monday. We will have a baby school. We're going to get readers from the community to come in and help work with our babies. We've got to do this, Sister Sheila is a Baltimore City school teacher. I'm a Baltimore City school teacher. And anyone else who wants to, thank you. And we have Brother Raheem who said he will help out. And anyone else, if you're interested in helping us teach, we know that we could probably charge for this, but we won't reach the children who need to be helped, So we're going to teach them core knowledge up until the 5th grade, because we know that if they get core knowledge, they will be able to learn really well. Kids are going to school, they don't even know what a city is. They don't know what a state. They don't know the multiplication tables. They don't know the basic things that they're supposed to know. And we're going to teach them from an African perspective, So we're going to do this for free. We can use anything from the community. We don't have any money, but we're charging $10 so we can go out and buy pencils and pads and things like that. And anybody in the community who wants to help us, we really would appreciate it. We don't even know how we're going to do it. We're just going to do it because it has to be done. I'm tired. I'm going to teach a summer school for Baltimore City from 8 to 1, and I will come in and teach an afternoon session, but Sister Sheila would teach. And not only are we teaching those classes, we are also teaching them how to study. That's something they do not know how to do. Sister Sheila has been teaching for how many years, sister?
Long time.
A long time. A long time. Me, a long time, right? Okay, so any other teachers who want to help us out even a few hours a day, just let us know, because this is free. It's for our children, and they need to have the real knowledge, core knowledge, which they don't even teach around the United States. Only a select few people actually get core knowledge. If you go to a private school or something like that, in the public schools, you do not get it, trust me. So just help us out any way you can. We have these these flyers, and you can sign up, but we will call you and give you the regular schedule. I'm going to change some of them right now so you can know. But I printed up like maybe 100 flyers, and they're all wrong now. So just help me out with this. I'm going to sit there with a pen, and I'm going to change it up. But it's going to start. The open house is June 10th. The classes are going to start on June 27th, I think. Okay, so just work with us and help us out. We may not be perfect, but we're going to give your kids some knowledge, okay? Thank you. It's actually being sponsored by Soul Barbers Nation.
And somehow, in some way, just as you're going to do. You're going to be the engineer. You're going to
check this out.
As I mentioned before, not all of us here.
Check my mama out.
As well. My question has to do with Abu Jamal.
Oh, that's brother. That's brother. Brother Donald right there.
He's going through right now.
A building being first and then causing 8 years of wreaking havoc
check
on the
this
black
out right
community
here.
that would end in a race war that they will be prepared for, that we won't be prepared for because we'll be Turner Diamonds. And they started that when they
could another one's killed, but you
this
gave
is my mama.
Could another one's killed, but you gave a lot of I can like to say that
Turner Diamonds. And they started that when
this
they
is
did
mama right
Obama,
here.
and that was supposed to be the
very first lecture we ever did, and she was actually like around the same age as me. Like I think she was about like 50, 51 here,
incident in their Bible of the Turner Diamonds.
I would second like to say I would first like to thank you for that very, very informative lecture. I would second like to say that my son is Jabari. He had your book. I saw it and I'm like, oh, it's thick. And I don't want to read about the police. I'm not really into them, right? So I picked it up the other day. It is brilliant. I mean, it is a masterpiece. It is really a masterpiece. You shouldn't shy away from this book. It's a book about life in Baltimore, and I like the way that you give credit to your brothers for, even though they had a lot of problems, they were very key in getting you to where you needed to be, because we sort of tend to write off the drug dealers and the drug addicts. Oh, good, another one's killed. But you gave a lot of credit to people who helped to make you who you are right now. But the question I wanted to ask you is what the brother asked me just before me, was about the rise of the state militia groups, because I think it's really key what's happening with the state militia groups. And I didn't even know, I mean, I'm an educator, and I didn't even know that the Constitution gave rise for the state militia groups. Whenever the government, they feel is in trouble, that the community come together and form a state militia group. And we don't have a lot of information. We really do need a lot of people, people like you going around giving us real information. I want to thank you for that.
Yep, that's my mama. That is my mama. Let's see. This is me giving her mom an award at Dr. Ben's lecture. Let me see. The audio is not that good. Let me see.
You stand with the blessing of your mother and God, it matters not who stands against you. Dedicated to the loving and honorable mother of reality speaks, Shanita Runners.
Well, a long time ago, I watched the things that were going on in our community, and I remember watching the Jane Pittman new movie, when they would always say, our people who were enslaved would always look for a person to say, is he the one? Is he the one?
And I always wanted to know, I was looking for someone in the community to be that person. So I started raising the one. I worked 2 jobs and went to school and cried and prayed and cried and prayed and had my 3 children in the car. I would tell them everything that was going on in the community. And who would think that Jamari, who was Corey McDaniel at the time, would be the one? He was a class clown. He never read a book in his life. He got to the 12th grade and all of a sudden, he was in the middle of the night reading books. And I think the first book he read was Dr. Ben. I'm like, who are you and what have you done with my son? He started reading, and people in the community, Carl, I don't know your African name, guys in the community, everyone's place, started going towards that, different groups. People started helping him, he started seeking. I told him to seek God. I had my definition, he needed to get his definition. When you stand before the Creator, you have to do it for yourself. So he started looking everywhere. He looked in all the churches. He went to about 12 of them. He said, I don't really see a God thing there. He was asking me all kinds of things. And he started going out to groups and doing all kinds of things. And at age 18, they started a group called Reality Speaks. And part of my family turned against me for letting these guys be in the basement. Tons of them coming out, listen, they got earrings, they got pocketbooks, what's going on, So finally, they kept bringing people, speakers at age 19. 40 people would come out. Who would think we would have this many people this time? They stood out many, many times. I'm out of my house to keep these boys in business, Because what is the house for? Ask me, is he the one or where is the one? I'll tell you, he's one of the ones. He's totally dedicated. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for being patient.
Continue to make, and especially your restoring the Black woman to her position, her rightful position. I cannot begin to tell you what it means to me. How you continuously, Dr. Bannon, Professor Small, always keep the Black woman and the Black man together. That is so important for us to, restore ourselves to our position in this society. But I would like to say with a little note to Jamari, when he was going to high school, he was going to mostly white high school, and he sort of he wasn't.
I'm just skimming, family. I'm just skimming, because I wanted y'all to know, what I'm saying, like, how Brother Jabari got to be the Brother Jabari, what I'm saying, and as Tupac said, what I'm saying, it's ain't no way I can pay you back, what I'm saying, but what I can do is, what I'm saying, the greatness of, like that I have shared with the community, with my mom, and just to let you know that the circle continues. And I want, man, all of y'all, what I'm saying, you got parents, you got fathers, mothers that's still around here, man. Y'all better cherish them. Y'all better cherish the moments. You got some things that you need to work out with sisters and brothers and all that kind of stuff, man. Y'all better cherish that. Cherish them days, and then guess what? It's love again that takes you to get you through this stuff. So I'm saying, like, man, I dream about my mom all the time. You know what I'm saying? I walk around with my little image of, what I'm saying, with my mom all the time. But this ain't for us to, what I'm saying? And I go in and out. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, some days I have rough days, but I know my mom would not want me laying around crying. And guess what? She had to go through. She lost her mother, and her mother had to lose her mother and father. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't doing nothing that each, that each generation ain't got to do in general under normal circumstances or normal things. So life, death, it's a part of it. We got to continue to go, continue to grow in the midst of all of that in general. Let me just show you this one right quick. You know what I'm saying? And it was just something that we was actually doing. Me and mom was doing
for some reason.
Together.
But I'm here with Mama Maat today, and we doing a little hanging out here today. Mama Maat, just to say she's a very, very, very special woman in my life. Just like that. that we saw, Nat Turner had to get the okay. He got the okay from his mama when he was actually getting ready to go out and carry on his work that had to be done. And that's kind of how Mama Mayada has been here in my life. She's been like that beacon of guidance. But it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years, and we sitting here just with Mama Mayada selling some water, selling some different things.
Everything I could do, not just for our people, for all humans, to help people out and take care of them. The more you give, the better it is. It's a joy for me to give because I see what it does. It makes my heart happy, and what it does for the other person is better than any joy you could possibly have on the earth. So
Right,
we have to take care of each other. Our people have gone through so much pain.
right. And tell them, just yesterday we were actually sitting down, eating breakfast in a restaurant.
So yeah, family. I hope that like I said, that you were able to get something from me sharing my story with you about mom and about dad and about my sister. About the ancestors. Like I said, it makes you honor the ancestors even more. Those who have come before us. And like I said, it don't have to be, a thing. I mean, you gonna go through it. And I think about my mom every day. I dream about her all the time. I think about my dad. I think about my sister all the time. But at the end of the day, we got to continue to go forward. We got to love on our children, loving those people that's around us. We got to unify. We got to come together. We got to get our spiritual selves together. We got to get our disciplines together as a people, and we do that by joining together, joining forces, and being together and being one with one another. That's how we make it through these times. That's how we make it. We come together. That's how we make it. That's how we make it. Come together out of love. Come together out of love, and man, I'm telling you, that's the key ingredient to all of this stuff. And that's how I'm able to push through for all those people who poured into me, who said, brother James Small, who came to the hospital, who came in and visited mom, and showed love to me and say, hey, look, Jabari, don't you be all around just laying around, like your mama wouldn't want that, you know, and she definitely wouldn't, but we gonna remember her. Y'all gonna remember. I mean, look, long as I'm here, y'all gonna remember. Y'all gonna remember the images. Y'all gonna always hear me quoting her. You gonna always, because that was 47 years of one of the greatest people that I've ever met on this planet. So y'all gonna hear, and not just because that's my mom, because she was a great person and she did great things. And I think the world still needs to hear those philosophies and those different things. So family, I love y'all. Man, look, call some loved ones, squash some beefs. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that's out there, that know that anything that I got open, any beef that I got open, that I'm willing to talk to anybody, to sit down with anybody. But sometimes you can't talk to people if they're not ready to talk. And I'm willing to talk to anybody that want to sit down and talk and want to work things out. But then when people play these games and they don't want to talk and they want to stay away and all, like, look, man, eventually if you live long enough, you're gonna need that person for something. So don't think that you just running away, not dealing with this person at this particular time. We need each other. All right. So that's for anybody that's in my line. Anybody, we need to have a conversation. We need to talk. But I would tell you and the family, if it's somebody, see, y'all take for granted because y'all people here every single day. They're here. But believe me, one day they won't be here. And then you're gonna be, oh my God, I should have said something. I should have did this. I should have did this. I should have did that. Let this be a message. Even if this is the message that you get today coming from the Maat Temple Elevation from Brother Jabari, if that's the message to the day, reach out to a loved one. Squash your beef. Squash your beef today. Call somebody. Go see somebody that that you need to go see. Because they may have some wisdom for you, something that you need to hear, or some healing for you. Because most of us run around lonely anyway, and especially if you ain't involved in one of those three institutions, the synagogue, the church, or the mosque. Let's get real, family. It's healing that need to happen, and we need each other. As bad as we want to all separate, I ain't dealing with this, I ain't dealing with that person. We got some brotherhood stuff we about to do for the Maya Temple Elevation. Get involved for those brothers. If brothers sit out there lonely as I don't know what. You get on the internet and yeah, peace and blessings, the police brutality and the such and such and such, this, that, and the other, but you lonely as heck. Sisters that's out there lonely, don't have nothing to be a part of. It's time for the family to come together. It's time for a healing to take place. When you doing all of this work, you're doing anything, you're gonna experience life and death. That's gonna happen. Happy times, sad times. That's life. But it's us, it's the family coming together that's gonna get us through. So, family, I ain't gonna hold you no longer. I just wanted to share my journey and hope that you know what I mean. That in hopes that you would share your journey and comment on this, hit the like button, brothers and sisters. If you want to give a donation, you know what I'm saying? Like, that helps. Oh, also, family, we be dropping clips. We're gonna be dropping a lot of shorts on the Nuri Muhammad, different clips from that. Y'all get that, y'all share that. Y'all share that. And we also have it for download for those who want to get the download for the Nuri Muhammad that we just did on male female relationships. Banging, 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 banging event. So y'all, we do need y'all help, family. Um, Let me see here. Let me check with the Instagram. All right, see what's going on over there. Okay. All right. Yeah, we do need your help, family. So hit the like button. Subscribe. Subscribe to us, man. Y'all know we've been here for 29 years. As long as the creator and the ancestors give me the breath of life, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing this where I can't get away from it. You know what I mean? Although sometimes I don't want to do it. I mean, I love it too. I love our people. I love to see our people grow. At the barbershop, man. We've been providing jobs for our people for years. We love doing it. We love to help to bring. I love to take a person who's never cut hair before and turn them into a barber. Man, I get energized from that. I love to help as much as I possibly can. And I ain't perfect by a long shot. I ain't perfect. But I want to be around here to help to do some of the things that we need to do in our community and to help to build. So I said, we got brotherhood groups that's coming up. We got sisterhoods, you know what I'm saying? And we want y'all to be able to come out with us when we do this. This type of stuff that we do, this type of stuff that we talking about. So if y'all agree with like this topic and you know what I mean, like I like to hear y'all comment, you know what I mean? Like, go and look at it, share it, and hit the like button when you comment, it helps us to grow. So please, I was trying to put the banner on there. Let me see. That's the Cash App right there. If you want to send Cash App, to help out because we got some great, wonderful things. And this year ain't over yet, you know, and we still gonna do some great things in the community. Y'all gotta start getting out too. A lot of y'all from COVID, don't want to come out no more. So you gotta start getting out in the community. You got to get out in the community and shake some people's hands, touch some people, man. I also wanted to, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to those people who lost family members during COVID. Y'all, I know, are traumatized because if I was at the experience I went through with my mother when I was able to touch on her and rub on her and all, if I had to deal with that during COVID, I probably wouldn't be right now. I mentally wouldn't be right now. So I want to give praises and shots out to every last one of y'all who dealt with that. Every last one of y'all who wasn't able to touch your loved ones and had to go to COVID funerals and things of that nature. Man, I mean, like y'all, man. But if y'all are walking around saying now, man, I give praises and honor to you, and I continue to have prayers because I don't think I could have went through that. I could have lost my mind during that time. So for those of you who lost people during that time frame, man, I know that was tough. But once again, I'm saying that's if you want to support, what we're doing. Let me also run this here. Let me see. Where's the other? Yep. So anybody want to give donate, what I'm saying, what I mean? And brothers and sisters, what I mean? Hit the like button, fam. And man, love y'all and hope y'all ready for us to come back next week. We'll continue to go to grow and flow and how to the Africans feel. And again, as we started, the spirit is strong, definitely strong. I'll read Brother Saw's statement. You know what I mean? Meaning making has a lot to do with who is traumatized and who isn't. Many spiritually cope, as you spoke about, and are resilient. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that's definitely true. Uh, Dr. Saw, and uh, again, just wanted to hope everybody have a great Sunday and love on somebody, love on somebody, love on somebody. Y'all have a great rest of the day. See you next week. Peace.